Males, presumably, are born to be strong. Majorly, they are raised as the stronger of both genders by family, by society, and even parents.
However, the belief that a male child must be tough and put up an exterior tougher image has contributed to the neglect of a male child's unique needs.
Why we concentrate so much energy raising the girl child? Who really takes care of the male child? You know, boys also cry. They have emotions, they have feelings. They also need a care that will give to the women, to be given to them.
However, the belief that a male child is tough and must put up a tough exterior to shield his emotions is definitely not the best for the overall well-being of the male child. This will definitely lead to the neglect of his unique needs.
Welcome to the Amazons. My name is Aisha Falode.
And I am Lillian Imoni.
The male child really will teach them masculinity, will teach them strength, will teach them, to mask their emotions. You hear things like, boys don't cry. Have you taken care of your sister? You have to take care of your mother. You have to, you have to be strong. You have to learn to do. We give them these silent guidelines on how to embrace life without giving too much attention
To them.
To their emotions, to how they also
Need care.
Yeah, can be human.
True.
Sometimes. So this is a problem that we are facing in the society today. We raise men who do not know how to negotiate. We raise boys to become men who do not know how to dialogue. We raise boys to become men who do not know
How to show empathy.
how to show emotions. Boys also cry.
Boys do cry.
So on the Amazons today, really, I grew up in we have five girls and 5 boys. And the thing is, we concentrate so much attention on raising a proper woman in the girl child. We teach them, you have to be submissive, you have to do the chores, you have to be respectful, you have to, when you're hurt, you can cry, girls are taught to, from the very young age, how to be women from that age. Why don't we do the same for boys?
And for me, I grew up with 6 boys. I'm the only girl, so it's kind of a flip for us, because for my brothers, they were taught, like you said earlier, the football field is for both the boys and the girls. They were taught to cook, to sweep, and to do all of that. I think that I was even a little bit spoiled silly growing up, because I saw them doing all of these things, and I gloried in the fact that if I wake up in the morning, my elder brother will have swept the parlor. I will just have to join my mother in the kitchen sometime. But, like you rightly said, the girl child has been given so much responsibility from just a tender age, and there's this subtle, undertone of how she must be submissive, and how the boys must learn to manage, the affairs, so to speak, the affairs of the house. But the girl child, should manage the boy as well.
And we are quick to blame the boy child for what they become, later in life when they become men, when they turn out to be bullies, when they turn out to be, engaged in social vices, when they turn out to become, men who batter wives, who, violate their wives, who, we tend to blame them. But this is how we raise them. This is what we'll be talking about today on the Amazons. Boys also cry. Mentoring the boy child. How do we raise boys to become men? Men who can truly show emotions and empathize and sympathize and become good daddies when the time comes.
Great husbands. I can imagine. All right, stay with us, and when we come back, we'll go straight into the heart of the matter and discuss further on our topic for today, Boys Cry Too. Do not touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Normally, I think traditional African society, you want to raise the boys stronger. Where we get that idea, I don't know. You will find some very emotional men. You can't take anything from them.
Are you emotional?
I don't think so.
Welcome back to the Amazons, where today we are talking about boys also cry. Mentoring the male child. Ifeanyi Atama is our guest. Ifeanyi, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Let me start from the beginning. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
You have kids?
Yeah, just one daughter.
Okay. So
that I know of. I don't know what I have. I don't know what I have outside.
But you are not done yet.
I'm not done yet.
I know that.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not done yet.
So, I mean, we're talking about, the male child is raised to be tough, raised not to show emotions, raised to, to just carry everything and not let go of the things they bottle in. How were you raised? How many brothers do you have? Your father, did he, was it tough on you, tougher than he was on the girls?
I have 3 brothers, and my father was a policeman.
Oh my God!
So you can imagine. Normally, I think traditional African society, you would want to raise the boys stronger. Where we get that idea, I don't know. But I think things are changing now. With everything that's happening in the world today, we're beginning to erase that imaginary line that the male child is stronger than a female child, because we've seen really, really strong women, and we've seen, should I use in quotes now, not so strong men. Well, I was raised, you don't cry as a man. Wow. My sisters were allowed to cry as much as they wanted, but as a man, it's like, why are you crying? You are a man.
Chest up.
Chest up. But growing up, I kind of understand where my father was coming from. In traditional African society, again, there was a time when the men were, should I say, categorized into certain things that involve strength, power, leadership. It's only recently that we're now seeing women in leadership and balancing the playing field. So to be a leader, there would always be a shoulder for every other person to cry on. If something happened in the family, for example, you'd want to cry onto the shoulder of the man. And you don't expect, I'm crying, you're crying. So on whose shoulder are we going to cry on?
So all that male strengthening was because you wanted the man to take the position of leadership?
Yes.
Not because you wanted the man to mask his emotions?
No, I don't think masking. It also differs. People are different. You will find some very emotional men. You can't take anything from them.
Are you emotional?
I don't think so. I don't think I'm a very emotional man. When it comes to, maybe I am emotional, but crying, I don't think crying is my thing.
No, when we say crying now, I mean not weeping, not shedding tears. Like you hear things like, you are a man, you don't cry. You have to take care of your sister, you have to take care of your mother. Yeah. You have to be ready now because you are eventually going to be the man of the house. Absolutely. Things like that.
Absolutely. In fact, I was by my father's side when he died. And these were the exact words.
Instructions
you're
to
a man.
Wow.
Your sisters are around. All my sisters are older than me.
Wow.
But it was more like, you are a man. These are women.
But what we are saying, Lillian, is that right? Is that right? Not sharing, we concentrate so much attention on raising the girl to be a woman, to be the weaker sex, to be submissive, to, all the long list of this is what you have to be as a woman. Sure. But there's also this silent guideline for the man that this is also the character and the trait you have to show that you are that man.
I also don't think it's too wrong, because a man is what a man is and a woman is what a woman is. Wow. The problem is, if you now concentrate all of your efforts on the man and forget the strength of the woman. In as much as he was going on about, you're a man, your sisters have to be there, you stand in line for everything, he didn't forget the fact that the women also had to hold everybody together. He's no longer around. And I can tell you for free, that half of the time I pick up my phone, I look at my phone, is my sister calling, have you called your brother? Because I'm thinking, he's fine.
So the instructions that he left,
Yes.
how do you think that has played in your life now? How has that helped you become the man that you are today? I mean, in your marital affairs.
Okay, I think truly in a house, you have a man and you have a woman. Equal, but one has got to lead, whether you like it or not. And in most cases, you find that some women willingly hand it over to you and say, okay,
I like the word willingly.
yeah, willingly. It's not
Because they've been raised to do that.
Is it? Well, we can agree that there's so many things that we have picked up that we haven't questioned. I mean, we don't have all day. We can start from the very beginning. So many things. Sometimes you wonder, who wrote this thing? Was there a conference where everybody agreed that this is the way
This
things
is the
ought to
template
be?
to live by. True.
Yes.
True.
I've also, in my same family, I've also seen, because I'm from Nsukka, and they raise really strong women. Most of the time when you go to the villages, you find the women at the farms. And it's not like the men are not working, but you find that the women are really, really strong. So there has to be some kind of culture that they are moving with. So in my family, for example, my wife, I think I live a 50-50 life. On paper, if maybe there's a meeting in the environment, so may say, okay, you go, you're the man. But when we come back home, I don't take a decision without letting her.
Okay, so have we also considered that in trying to raise the man to be the man that you want him to man up to, that you are also creating some habits that this boy will later become as a man? For instance, it's thought that he should be in a position of leadership. That way, you don't compromise. There's no negotiation. You see where I'm coming from? You are thought that, whatever you say, the woman has to take it. Yeah, he has to agree to it. So the woman is at a disadvantage. So you are not thought to have a conversation. You are taught just to give the orders. You are taught to say what you want done, and it is done. Do you see what I mean? And most cases, we blame the boys and we blame the men for what we have created them to be in all of this.
Yes, I completely understand. But if a father raises his male child to just lead, don't pay attention, what you say is law, I think it's completely wrong. I think it's totally wrong. And I think you'll be doing yourself, your child, whether male or female, a huge disadvantage. If you're raising your male child to say, you're the head of this family, your decision is final. Sometimes you don't even have to say it. All they have to do is just observe the way you lead your own family, and they'll have picked their lessons. So you don't have to tell a male child or anything your wife says, don't pay attention to it. He's seen the way you were with his mother. When you come to the house and say, what's this? No, I'm the man of this house. I want it this way. They already pick it that that's the way it happens. But today we're seeing women who are standing their grounds. So it's no longer the way it was before, where it was the man working, and so therefore everything in the family was concentrated on the man. Now the woman has got her job, she's got her education, unlike before. So if you come around and say, this is the way I want to say, no, can we look at it this way? And because back in the day, you probably go to the village and call one or two people who are traditionalists. But today, if you have a problem in your family and you look around you, you probably be calling educated people, because the education is spreading. And so when they come around and try to discuss these matters, it will be from an informed perspective. If, for example, I have a child, and a male child, and he has issues with his wife, for example, and they call me in, I'm not going to take the position of, you are the man and so therefore you're right, because of the kind of education that I've had.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi. I mean, this is an eye-opener. The world is evolving, the world is changing. What used to be the norm in the days of our fathers and mothers is no longer. We are teaching our daughters to be independent. We should also teach our sons to, have compassion, be cooperative with their wives. You raise a girl child now, raise them on the same, in football we say the same level playing field. You know, everything you teach the boy, you also teach the girl, you know, because both of them are just going to be leaders in their own respective fields and home. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi.
Thank you so much for coming
on the Amazons today. We'll go on a quick break now. We'll be back talking on the Amazons.
When we neglect the boy child, it still comes back to the girl child. They becomes vulnerable at the end of the day. Once they are becoming teenage, like going into 14, 15, then they are going out of hand because the mother no longer has a good hold on him.
Welcome back to the Amazons, where today our focus is on the boy child. Boys also cry too, you know. Who mentors the boy child? We have a guest joining us. She runs an NGO that is advocating for the boy child, Eviano Afakwe. You're welcome to the Amazons. What kind of mentoring does the boy child need, actually?
The boy child. Well, the boy child has been neglected for quite a while now, and we've all been going into the girl child and all of that. But the truth about the boy child is, when we neglect the boy child, it still comes back to the girl child. They becomes vulnerable at the end of the day. And so the boy child now needs a lot of fatherly role. You know, we need to instill good character into them. We need to focus on bringing them up the way we raise the girl child. You know, share amongst them chores. You don't just say, okay, boys will be boys, and you leave them to go watch video games. You leave them to go play football. And so as they're growing up, you start the mentoring, you know, giving them, they catch them young. Yeah, you put the discipline in them. You teach them to be humble. You teach them to be respectful. So those are little trainings you put into them while they grow up, because once they are becoming teenage, like going into 14, 15, then they are going out of hand because the mother no longer has a good hold on him. Yes, a complete hold on him. And so, but while they are still growing up, you know, from their family, they are still under the mother in their primary, their kindergarten, you know, they are with the women, you know. The primary session, nursery session, they're with the women. When they go back home, they're with the mothers. And so the mothers at that early stage has so much to do in raising up the boy child. And so by the time it's getting to age 14 and 15, that's when the fatherly role comes in, because then is seeing him as a role model. And so now the father has a lot to do in stage, mentoring the boy child.
Great, great. So in your experience with advocating for the boy child, can you share with us, you know, those little challenges that comes to your table and how you handle them? What are the most critical cases that have come to your table?
Last 2 months, that should be August precisely, we had a case of 2 boys, SS2 or thereabouts, SS2 going to SS3. And so their parents ought to put them into tutorials to go into jam lesson and all of that. Now these boys, they don't go to school. They spend their money and they feel they go play games, they bet and all of that. And so they get carried away with the frivolities of life and all of that. And so these boys will now come home, they will be smelling, and they smoke as well, as little as they are 14, 13. Wow. They started smoking. And so they come back home and they are tired, they are sleepy, and their mother will like, what's wrong with you? And like, nothing, mommy. And these are the little attention you don't, you know, you go out, you go work for these same children and you don't still pay attention to them. And so all along, they started noticing that these boys don't go to school. They started smoking. And so they had to send them to rehabilitation centers. So now they are doing better because at those rehabilitation centers, they work on their character, they work on their religion. Whichever religion you fall into, they tell you to pray, God is the ultimate and all of that, and they instill the right discipline into you. So now they are beginning to change, because a lot of boys, you don't want to know, plenty boys from age 12 to 16, they're already doing all sorts, smoking, drinking, touching girls, because they don't know anything about respect and honoring your next sex partner. And so they just feel, well, I'm growing up and it's my age. And so when they feel the urge to explore, or there's a point in their life where the manhood in them comes out. So when the father is not there for them to say, this thing I'm feeling, this thing, just like we ladies see our period, and so they also experience that thing at that so they need someone to talk to experience. So if they're not seeing that person, they just go outside, talk to friends, and their friends will hail them, hey, welcome to the club.
That brings me to the next question. Like, if you do not, where you have an absentee father, where there's no male role model, especially for the boys who are in their teens, where they begin to, they are very expressive now. They want to adventurous. They want to try things. They are very impressionable. They want to. The peer pressure is there. Where you don't have this role model in their lives, how do you manage such boys? There's no father figure, there's no male that is taking the responsibility and the place of a role model in this boy's life. How do you manage such children?
Okay, like someone asked for single mothers. You as a single mother, you can't say you don't have a male person you kind of talk to. You should always have someone you talk to, a brother, a father, a cousin, an uncle, or a religious person. And so you could always refer the boy to him and say, look at this person. Talk to this person in case I am not there for you. And so the mother has a lot to do. Even if you're a single mother, you still need to raise your boy accordingly, irrespective of no father figure. You need to tell him this is the way to do it. This is the way to do things. This is the way to go by it. And so you must have a father or a man figure in your life that even you yourself, you're looking up to, like, this person has been there, has been a good representative of the society. And so the boy could look up to him.
So talking about what parents must do, you see, the center of our discussion today is not just, the vices of the boy child. We also want to showcase the fact that boys can be vulnerable. They have emotions. They cry too. So how do these boys show their emotions? They are very vulnerable. And like you rightly mentioned, they need a role model to do all of this. But you see, it works both ways. Now, do you take a boy child to a rehabilitation center so that he can express his emotions, express himself better? Where does that come into play when it comes to being vulnerable, showing your emotions? You're not told to man up. You're not told to chest in. You're not hailed for becoming a man, like it's some sort of achievement, because the girl is also growing. And for the single parents to, when they show or so much emotions or affection to just the girl child, the boy child is neglected and watching. So, let's strike a balance between the boy, showing his emotions, and the boy expressing what he has learned on the streets from his friends and all of that. They cry too. How do they do this?
In striking the balance, we women, we tend to be too emotional towards the girl child, We send the girl child to school, maybe she's in primary 1 or 2, and she comes back home, she says, Mommy, something happened to me, my friend touched me. And you're like, oh, who? What's his name? Or her name? You go all around the girl child. Now the boy child comes home and says same thing, and you're like, No, we shouldn't condemn. We should accept at that point. acceptance is needed. We should accept them. Ask them questions the same way, the same way. It shouldn't be different, because at that age 1 to 14, it's very important. So the same attention, focus, and emotional display that you give to the girl child, give it to the boy child, so that way he will open up to you and tell you, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm facing. I have this set of friends in school and I don't like them. So you can go back to his school and say, I don't want these people to move with my son because he has been complaining about them. But when you don't listen, you shun him, you feel he's a boy, you should you can take care of yourself. So boys will not be boys. Boys are meant to express themselves. They have feelings, they have emotions. And so we should learn to take them in, just the way we take the girl child in as well.
So this is a discussion really that should be ongoing on our social media platforms, that the girl child, raising the girl child and raising the boy child, there should be no difference. We raise up the boy child and pay so much attention, raising a girl child to become the woman that she is, prim, proper, compassionate, be a mother, be a good wife. You prepare them for when they are young. And the girl child who becomes a woman ends up being victimized by the boy child that has now become a man whom we didn't accord the same attention that was accorded the girl child. That is the whole essence of this message. Lillian.
Okay, yes, like she rightly said, let's not focus all our attention on the girl child. Like you prepare the girl child for the boy child. True. So
Train the queens.
Exactly. So I hope that our viewers have taken a thing or two from all that has been discussed here, and want to say thank you for joining us on the show. It's been an amazing time with you, and to our viewers also. Until next week, thank you for staying tuned. My name is Lilian Imoni.
Eluviano, thank you so much for being a part of the program today. Remember, be tender with the boy child. They also have emotions, they cry as well. Until we see you again next time, bye-bye.